don't want to keep you guys waiting. Let's get into the first main topic. The first main topic is going to be a match preview of the United States women's national team and Colombia's first match on January 18th. So, as I said, United States women's national team is going to be playing a friendly against Colombia on January 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be airing on ESPN2. So, for those of you who don't have cable like myself, we'll get creative and try to find ways to watch the game because it's going to be really exciting. But this match is going to be the first of two. The second one takes place just like 4 or 5 days later on January 22nd. The math in my head right now just isn't quite working, but that second game is gonna. I'll probably talk about that in the next episode of the podcast because I believe I'll do an episode between that game and the next game because there will be a lot to talk about. So, um, let's do a good old lineup prediction. I love to do these before each game, especially for the United States women's national team. I've got them not really straying away from their normal formation. I believe they're going to do a 4-3-3, and in that midfield three, there's going to be two central midfielders and a holding midfielder. I just think that's a formula that's been working for them. Why stray away from it? And it seems like Vlatko would agree with that because he's been using it for at least a lot of the games that he's been coaching in. So, but enough about that. Who's going to be playing? Who do I think is going to be starting? And who do I think is going to be subbed on for that particular game? So, this is my lineup. Starting in goal, I've got Alyssa Nair. In defense, I've got Kelly O'Hara playing in the right back position. Abby Delkemper playing alongside her in the central defending position. Her paired up with Becky Sauerbrunn also in the central defensive position. And then on the left back position, I've got Crystal Dunn playing. And in the midfield, I've got Julie Ertz playing that defensive holding midfield position alongside Samuels and Roosevelt both playing in the central midfield position. And then finally, in forward, I had the absolute hardest time picking out this group because it's just a toss up. I've got Megan Rapinoe playing on the left wing, Carly Lloyd playing up top at the striking position, and then Lynn Williams playing up at the right wing. So before I get into the substitutions, let's just talk about some of the reasoning behind this. I think with this is one of the first games in a while since they last played the Netherlands that they've all been together. So I think Vlatko's really going to want to go with what he knows as of right now. I don't think he'll get experimental quite yet. I think as more friendlies and the She Believes Cup comes up, that he'll maybe get a little bit more experimental and try to rotate some people around. But part of these friendlies is to not only prepare for the She Believes Cup and see who he wants to play, but I don't think there's any too much that's changed since Netherlands to want to change around this lineup very much. The only things that have really changed is that Carly Lloyd, Kristen Press, Tobin Heath are not, or not. I'm sorry, let me back up. Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, Kristen Press are not in the lineup because they either opted out or they got ill. So that's really the only thing that have changed. So I wouldn't expect the line to change too much. Plus, none of the players that I've picked to start, it's not like their forms has really changed either. So there's also that. The reason why I said the forward position was my hardest to pick out is because I can't tell what Vlatko is really going to want to see because he only picked five forwards, I believe. It was Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, Lynn Williams, Sophia Smith, and oh, who am I missing? I'll figure it out later. I'm missing one other person, but um, it's like Carly Lloyd and Megan Rapinoe haven't played all of 2020, so it's like, okay, does he want them to start so he can see them play? Does he think is he going to keep them all game? Or are they going to be match fit even to really play? Uh, so there's that, and plus, I'm sure he'll want to see Lynn Williams into this mix as well because I think we all know that Flacco really rates her highly. I'm not saying I do or don't agree with that necessarily, but that's mainly the reason why I picked her in this lineup, and plus with the lack of depth that he has at this camp in the forward position, that just poses some questions that I have, and I'm sure that a lot of other fans have too. Is who's he going to put up top? So, um, that's just the one part that was racking my brain in this lineup. Other than that, not really a whole ton of surprises. Let me know down in the comments who do you think is going to start this game, and also give me some reasons why, or if you agree or disagree, let me know. I'm all for it. We can have some fun discussion. Okay. So, with my lineup prediction up and out of the way, I think he's going to make a few substitutions. I believe he's going to use five of them. If I'm not mistaken, guys, I believe that for international friendlies, you get five substitutions per FIFA laws. If I'm mistaken on that, feel free to jump down in the comments and let me know, because I'd be surprised if that wasn't the case. That seems to be the standard for all international play. But nevertheless, my 5 substitutions I predict are going to be Tierna Davidson, Emily Sonnet, Lindsey Horan, Katerina Macario, and Alana Cook. So, if you guys recall in the last episode, I talked, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, I talked a lot about why Vlatko might have taken so many defenders with him to this January camp. And I think the main reason is he's still trying to weigh his options as to who else to take to the Olympics with him. My projection is going to be that he's going to take 6 defenders with him to the Olympics, apart from Kelly O'Hara, Abby Dahl-Kemper, Becky Sarber, and Crystal Dunn. I think he's still trying to figure out who's going to occupy those 2 other defending spots. So with that, I believe he's going to want to see a lot of defenders be subbed on between these 2 games, and that's why I've got 3 defenders out of 5 in my substitutions. And I also think that Tierna and Emily have the biggest chance of being being. Hang on, I gotta slow down when I talk. I think that Tierna Davidson and Emily Sonnet have some of the biggest chances out of all the defenders to be selected into the international squad for the Olympics. Wow, that was a mouthful. So I think he's going to see them a little bit more than all of the other defenders in this particular camp, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. I think Alana Cook's also going to get subbed on just to get a look. I don't believe Vlatko's had a ton of time to see her on the pitch, so that should be really interesting as well. And then as for Lindsey Horan, as far as I'm concerned, she would have been playing in the last friendly against the Netherlands if she didn't get COVID. So I don't see why Vlatko wouldn't want to sub her on just to get her some minutes, get her back into the squad as well, because she's one of the best in the world. Why not see her play? And she very well could start. If I had to pick, I would predict that she'd start over Rose in case Rose isn't 90 minutes fit. Rose has been battling an injury since she's been at Man City and since the last friendly, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Rose's injuries always surprise me because just when I think she's injured, she's not injured anymore, so that's been really weird, but we'll see. And then lastly, Katerina Macario, since she has been cleared by FIFA to play, it seems like Vlatko has been keen to get her into the squad for the last few camps, so I don't see why he wouldn't sub her on in this case. Probably sub her on for Sam Mewis. This is going to be my bold prediction. I could see him subbing on Katerina Macario into a forward spot. Maybe just to get some fresh legs into the forward line, but maybe he's going to try to experiment with her. I don't know. That's a bit of a hot take. Don't take that to the bank, but we'll see. Okay. So at the end of the day, guys, the biggest takeaways that I had from picking out this roster for this particular match was that it's really tough because there's really no way to tell if a lot of these players are 90 minutes fit. Like I said, a lot of them are returning from injuries. Some of them haven't played for all of 2020, so like a whole calendar year. So time is really going to tell to see. I would imagine that they wouldn't be able to play if they weren't healthy. I'm not saying that they're not healthy. I'm just saying, can they make it through the whole 90 minutes without collapsing, basically? That just happens because when you're running around for 90 plus minutes, it can get really tiring and really hard on your body. So we'll see. We will cross that bridge when we get there. Are you excited for the United States Women's National Team game? Comment below, let me know. And what are your thoughts on the upcoming match? Roster predictions, whatever it may be, don't be shy. Okay, so that'll do it for the first segments of the evening. Let's get into the second.